All right, guys, how's it going? It's day 4, and I have a great topic for today. A friend of mine actually mentioned this after a reel I posted. Oh, hold on, let me check the time. So a friend of mine actually suggested this topic to me after I posted a conversation or a question about marriage and why people aren't getting married anymore. And he had a really interesting reason, which I wanted to share with you all. And the reason was we aren't social anymore. We spend all of our time online. Our friends are online. We date online dating, one of the worst inventions to ever come out in the history of the world. All of our relationships happen online. Half of us work online. One of my jobs is an online job. This job is online. So we don't actually spend time with people in person anymore. And it's a big loss because we don't know how to communicate anymore, especially if you went to school. If you were homeschooled, socially you were kind of inept. People who went to school were socially able to communicate. Now it's switching around. It's going the other way. People who are homeschooled, they're actually able to communicate and express themselves to other people and to multiple age groups. And people who go to school can only converse with people from their same age group. And even then, still doesn't seem like they can do it very well, which is an interesting trend change. But anyway, I digress. We need to be more social. And this is really important for relationships because with relationships, if you can't communicate properly, if you can't express yourself properly, you aren't going to be able to have a healthy relationship. And the only way to learn how to do that is to be in situations that force you to learn to express yourself. So one of the best ways to do that is obviously spending time with groups of people and making friends and hanging out with your friends in person and talking to people of different age groups. That's a big one. For me, talking to older people, I have a lot of respect for older people. They have tons of wisdom, way more than I have right now. And it really widens my perspective on the world. Being able to talk to different age groups of people is super important. Because for the rest of your life, as soon as you get out of high school, as soon as you're out of university, every single interaction you have, or almost all of the interactions you have, are gonna be not your ideal person. And being able to communicate with different people opens up opportunities for you because people will feel understood by you. They'll feel like you want to talk to them. They'll want to talk to you. And it'll just make everything easier for you when it comes to finding work, when it comes to networking, when it comes to getting in a relationship. If you can comfortably talk with anyone, especially for guys, I know some guys find it hard to talk to girls. If you can comfortably talk to girls because you practiced it, it's going to be so much easier for you to talk to the girl that you actually like. For me, I no longer have to even worry. I'll still, if there's someone I'm interested in, if there's someone I'm attracted to, I'll still think about it. I'll be more nervous when I talk to them. But the idea of talking to them doesn't even concern me. I will go and talk to them because I'm attracted to them, right? Whereas a lot of the people I know, especially if it's someone they're attracted to, they don't even want to go and talk to them. And it's like, dude, this is someone you're attracted to. I can understand not talking to somebody that you aren't interested in. If they have no value to add to your life, if that sounds bad, but if they have no value to you, then I see why you wouldn't want to go and talk to them. But if there's someone you're interested in, man, you got to know how to go and talk to that person. And we got to be more social. My friend was totally spot on when he said this about getting out and learning how to talk to people. And this is so crucial in relationships to communicate properly. There's about four different communication models that humans communicate in. 4 colors, right? So there's red, green, blue, and yellow. And red and yellow are kind of extroverts. Blue and green are more introverted. I don't really like extrovert versus introvert. I think that's pretty stupid. I think some people are just more outgoing and some people are less outgoing. But I think if you're an introvert, if you're less outgoing, you need to learn to be more outgoing. And if you're an extrovert, if you're more outgoing, you need to learn how to talk less and you need to learn how to listen. So there's a balance to both, but I just dislike the characterization of extrovert versus introvert. But so a red communicator is going to be way more direct, he's going to seem impatient maybe. He's going to be very results based and very point by point kind of thing. Let's have the conversation. Let's get to the point that we want to get to in the conversation. And then let's finish the conversation and move on to something else that's more important because the time is important. I'm a very red communicator. And then someone who's a yellow communicator, it's way more fun. It's way more social. Let's have a fun time. They're less concerned about the details and more concerned about the story. They're very outgoing. They want to include everybody. which is great. And everyone is a little bit of all of these colors, but try and think of a friend of yours who's really one of these colors, and then that way you'll remember them better. So yellow is very fun and outgoing. Green is more peaceful. He wants to keep the peace. He's very focused on the project. He doesn't want to have a lot of, my dog's just joining us. Hey buddy, Arrow. Hey buddy. How's it going? Right down. You turn around so the camera can see you. Hey, there we go. Hey, sit. Arrow, sit. Dude, what is this guy doing? All right, just taking over the entire show, eh bud? Hey, sit. Bro, it's your tail, I know. Let's have a little stare down. He's trying to take over. He's trying to take over the show. He's trying to steal the show. Bro. All right, come on, buddy. Hey, come. Whoops. Anyway, so green is way more, they're peaceful. They want to make sure no one gets upset, basically. They communicate, they're a bit more quiet. They communicate a little less. They're more listeners. And they're going to make people like yellow and red feel a bit impatient because they take a long time to explain themselves and get out what they want to say because they don't want to leave anybody out and they want to be very careful, right? They're very careful people. And then blue is way more detail oriented, very much focused on being a perfectionist, getting everything properly done, doesn't want to make a mistake. A blue communicator would have a much harder time doing these unscripted conversations with you all because it's so imperfect. Like these conversations are so imperfect, and a blue communicator would have a really hard time with that. And so obviously our family has all sorts of different communicators and we're all in there somewhere, but it's just very interesting. You need to be able to talk to all of these different colors. Let's say you're a yellow, you need to be able to communicate to a red effectively. You need to be able to communicate to a green and a blue effectively so that they feel heard and they feel understood by you, because that's how you make real connections with people, because nobody communicates exactly the same way you do. If I'm talking to another red communicator, it's awesome. We have a great conversation. I feel like we get a ton done, but I also need to be able to talk to a yellow communicator like that and have the same thing happen. And it's like learning another language. You need to really work on that. And practice is the best way to do that. Going to events where you don't know anybody or very few people and just joining conversations. Or trying to start a conversation, even if you're more quiet. You need trying to start a conversation with somebody, trying to have a conversation, trying to talk to people. And that's going to really, it's going to increase your confidence. It's going to increase your communication skills. And it's going to increase the ability for you to make friends. It's something I've noticed in our family. Some of us are really good at making friends, and some of us are really good at keeping friends. Like, I'm really good at making friends. I can walk up to a group of people, introduce myself, join in the conversation, not take over, but join in the conversation, and make a ton of friends. And obviously, not really friends, they're more acquaintances. And I can make hundreds of friends. I make friends all the time, everywhere I go. But an actual personal close friend, I have maybe one or two, maybe. Even my personal close friends aren't close friends because we're all working, we're all busy, and we have lives, right? Whereas like my sister, she is insanely good at having really good friendships. She has close friends, but it takes her, if we start going to a group or we join a group or an event, it'll take her like a year longer than me to get to know people. And she'll feel like it's an unfriendly group because she doesn't know anybody, and she'll feel like the outsider for a long time before she really makes good friends. But then her friends are really good friends, and I got to learn how to make close friends. Whereas for me, I never feel like an outsider. I just join in, but then I never really get those deep connections, which is something to work on. But because that's my strength, I want to talk about that and not about how to keep friends. I'm still trying to figure that part out. I have no idea. If you know how to keep friends, if you know how to make close friends, let me know, please. Comment below the video. I read all the comments. I love the comments, and they're very interesting. Oh yeah, go follow my Instagram too, because I post every single day on Instagram, and it's all terrible content, but it's fun. So go follow that as well. But yeah, anyway, the best way to make friends that I found is find someone. If you're at an event and you don't feel like going up to a group, because going up to a group and joining a group is probably the easiest and best way, because you just walk up, you stand there, and you don't say anything right away, and you just listen to the conversation until you hear something that you actually know something about, and there's a bit of a lull, and then you add to the conversation. You join in the conversation, you add to the conversation, and maybe introduce yourself after that point. And then now you have a group of friends. It's honestly that easy. You just go and talk to people. You join a group, talk to people. But I know some of you, that's pretty intense, and especially at events that you're not used to, especially if you're not used to going up to people and talking to them, that's pretty intense. So my next suggestion would be to find someone else who's just as lonely as you, or just not talking to anyone else either. And I've done this as well, because I'm not always super confident. Usually I am, but not all the time. So I would go to find someone else who's not talking with a group, who's just on their own, or maybe one or two people. They're probably going to be quieter anyway. So if you're a little bit quieter, it's going to be more enjoyable to talk to them because they're probably going to communicate more like you do. Go up and talk to them and ask tons of questions. That's the biggest thing I have ever learned. And I'm still learning this because I love talking. But ask questions. People love answering questions. Who doesn't like answering questions, man? Like answering questions about yourself. Not in an interview, job interview type of way. Just like ask questions about the individual. He makes a comment about his trip to Alaska. Don't be like, yo, yeah, I went to Alaska last year. I saw like 5 polar bears. It was so awesome. No. You don't say anything. You just go, oh, cool. That's so cool. What's Alaska? What did you do in Alaska? How did that go? And you just listen to the conversation. And the crazy thing is you never have to say anything. You don't even have to tell them your name. You don't have to say anything. If you're just a good listener and you just listen, they're gonna love talking to you. They're gonna be like, man, I love this conversation. And you're gonna like, you did all the talking. But that's what people love. I love it when people come up to me and are interested in my life. And you know what? I love it too much. I'm really trying to work on that because it's way too easy to just talk about myself, and that's not a good thing. You gotta be able to let other people talk. And if they're just letting you talk and they're just asking questions, it's probably because they know that that's the best way to converse with people, and that's the best way to make other people feel good about themselves, and you should return the favor. It's something I'm really working on, to just ask people questions and just listen. This YouTube is my outlet now, I guess, because I get to talk completely just myself. I get to talk. I share my ideas with you all without stopping for as long as I want, every single night. It's absolutely epic. It's awesome. And you can't even interrupt me. It's so cool. So definitely gonna be keeping this up, especially if the more I try to ask people questions and listen. The more I'm listening, the more I'm gonna be talking to you guys. So really find someone who's similar to you, talk to them, quiet. Don't try and force your way into big groups if you're not comfortable with that, because it's gonna seem forced if you're not comfortable with that. Start small, start with maybe one person, maybe next time you're comfortable with that, maybe next time go for a group of 2 or 3 people and grow from there and learn how to make connections a little easier. I think a big thing is to get over your fear of talking. If you're a guy, get over your fear of talking to girls. If you're a girl, stop giving guys hints if you like them and just say it, because none of us know what you're talking about, bro. Girls flirt with me or give me hints sometimes. I have no idea. It's right over my head. I just think you're a fun person to talk to, honestly. Even if I'm interested in you, it's not gonna work because I'm clueless when it comes to, it's not gonna work. You gotta be very direct with guys because we're not gonna understand what you're talking about. It'll take us 5 years later, we'll be sitting down thinking about that conversation and be like, oh wait, she was flirting with me, wasn't she? Damn. So just, girls, be a little bit more direct if you're actually interested in a guy. Guys, just go and talk to the girl, for crying out loud. It's so easy. You just talk to her, start up a conversation. The worst thing that can happen is she's not interested in the conversation and she walks away. And at that point, it's like, sweet, you don't have to waste time thinking about her anymore, or you just learned how to handle someone rejecting you, which is awesome. The more rejection you take on, the less it's gonna affect you. And you don't want rejection to affect you because you're gonna get rejected a lot. Your entire life is gonna be full of rejection, so get used to it, right? But she could be interested and she could have a really good conversation with you and she could really like you, and then you've just talked to a girl that you were interested in and she liked you, and now you've got a phone number and now you have a relationship and now you're married with 5 kids. And that's pretty epic. That's pretty awesome. And you wouldn't be able to do that if you couldn't even talk to her. So really learn how to talk to girls if you're a guy. Really learn how to just go up, start talking to girls, start talking to your friend group. A little hint, this is maybe a little unethical, so don't necessarily follow my advice here. Just warning you. Don't follow my advice here. Actually, this is maybe unethical, but just talk to girls you're not interested in. Practice, don't hate me for this, practice flirting with girls you're not actually interested in and you don't like. Now, caveat here, do not lead anyone on. That's a terrible idea. Don't lead anyone on. Don't do it. It's incredibly mean and it's selfish and it's wrong. Flirting is maybe too strong of a word. Maybe having a nice conversation with someone, no intention, right? Have it, if you're nervous about talking to girls, go have it with a girl that you're not interested in. You have zero interest in, you're not attracted to. It's gonna be way easier because you're not gonna care if she rejects you because you've already rejected her in your mind. So when you're talking to her, it's gonna be chill. And unfortunately, it's a really good way to practice, so don't hate me for that. But that's something that could be helpful to some of you guys out there. Go talk to the girl you have zero interest in and learn how to talk to girls that way. And also that's gonna make it easier for you to know what a girl is thinking because you're gonna be a little more detached from the conversation because you're not actually interested. So you're gonna see how she's talking, how she's reacting to you, and you're gonna know how to be more interesting when you're talking to someone. Anyway, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get in trouble for that. My mom watches these, she's probably gonna kill me, but that's my advice for you. And get out, be more social. Tonight, I'm recording this a bit early, that's why it's lighter in here than normal. I have an event on tonight. Gonna go watch this movie night with a group of young people I know. And I got home from work and I was like, man, I gotta record a video, I gotta edit everything. I have absolutely no time, I don't wanna do this. I don't wanna go tonight, but I'm forcing myself to go anyway because I know it's important and I need those social interactions. It's important. And God even says in the Bible, he says, do not forsake the fellowship with the brethren. So if hang out with good Christian friends, solid, godly Christian friends, that's going to help you grow. Don't be dragged down by the world. It's way easier to be dragged down than be pulled up. So hang out with good, solid Christian friends that help you grow. And don't forsake the fellowship with the brethren, with people, because we're literally commanded to fellowship in the Bible. So go and do that. I'm going to go get ready and hopefully get this video uploaded before I have to leave, which is very soon. So